Hello everybody and welcome back to this tutorial, and let us now finally code our usage function, which will just print to the user how they need to use this program, which will take the arguments, or the function itself will not take the arguments, but it will print the arguments, and it will print what each letter of these specified arguments right here that we set up right here means, because user cannot really see this code. So we want to make sure that they actually know what they are doing before running this program. So we can code the usage function right below the banner. So def usage, open double quotes, open and close brackets, and then the two dots. And we'll just print something like this. So print usage two dots. In the next line, we can actually first of all use the, let me just check right here, the W, which is for the URL, so we can just use that one first. We can tab it, slash or dash W, two dots will be equal to the URL, and then, for example, we can just specify in the brackets http / randomwebsite.com. Now, of course, you need to actually specify a slash for the actual, or it's not really that important, just make sure that they know how to specify a website, since if you remember in the previous videos we specified the HTTP by ourselves, and right now we didn't do that, so we need to specify to the user that they need to add the HTTP tag as well. But before I close these double quotes, let me add the bracket right here, and the next thing that we want to actually print to the user would be the username. So -u, I believe, is the username. Simple as that, nothing really too much to explain right here. It is the username that the user will specify. Then the next thing is the number of threads. So -t, I believe, is the number of threads. Yeah, it is -t, so threads. Afterwards, we can print the file that the user needs to specify in order to brute force, which is the file containing the actual password, so dictionary file. Let's type it like this. And the last thing that we need to print is the method that the user will use, so -m, two dots, and then the method. In brackets, we can specify basic or digest. So simple as that. And the last part will be a simple usage or a simple example of this program, of using this program. So example, we can call it like this. So base or digest auth.py -w http some / randomwebsite.com, then -u admin, -t 5 for the 5 threads, and -f we can just type passwords.txt. So this is a simple example of actually of a command that will run this program. So we print that to the user as well. And right now, if I'm not mistaken, this is everything we need to specify for our program. And right now we can see how it will run. We can see how fast it will actually brute force the password. We'll just use some random list, it doesn't even matter. We just want to see how fast it goes, whether these threads help us, and whether we actually printed everything as we should. So let me save this. chmod +x base or digest authentication. Now let us just first of all just start by running the actual program. So let me just see right here, print this file doesn't exist, please check if the path is correct. And here we have an actual bracket right here, which we don't need. So let us just nano the base or digest. Let me just find where that is. Here it is. First of all, we don't need this bracket, and we don't need this bracket right here. So that is first error. Let us see if we have anything else. You can see nothing really gets printed out, which is weird. Let us just type here hello. Not really sure why the usage is not being printed out. Let me check something first. If length of the sys arguments is equal we will call usage. Okay, so why didn't you call usage then? Oh yeah, of course. This is like a huge mistake, or not a huge mistake, it's just something that we should actually have noticed, that we didn't even call anything in our program. Of course, nothing will be ran since we didn't call the function itself. So we will use if name equals to main. We will run our start function, or we'll try to run it, so start, and make sure to specify that it should actually run from the second element of our list of arguments and then till the end. So close the square brackets, close the normal brackets, and we will just, let me just see right here, we don't need here a square bracket, so here is a normal bracket, here is a square bracket, okay, and we will accept keyboard interrupt, and we will print interrupted. So just like that, and right now we actually call the function itself, and we can see we get the actual banner, which we will fix right now. So this has to be tabbed just like this. So let us say right now, and once again, once we run it, we get the banner, and afterwards we get the usage, since we didn't specify any actual argument right here. So let us see how we can specify the argument. So base or digest authentication, then -w, and we will specify, for example, my router for the actual basic authentication, so 192.168.1.1, which is the IP address of my router, -uadmin, and -t number of threads will be 5, and we forgot right here to specify the method itself, so nano base or digest authentication, and right here -m method. So simple as that. Oops. Okay, so -w http //192.168.1.1 -u for the actual username, -t for the number of threads, -f for the actual file list or dictionary, so we'll just use the common.txt since it is in this actual directory, and -n we can just type here basic. Please check if the path is correct. File doesn't exist. Let us see why the file doesn't exist. It should exist. So what we do afterwards, file equals open dictionary for reading. Okay, let me just find, okay, so opt -f dictionary equals arg, and then f equals open dictionary for reading. Weird, not really sure why it won't work. Or maybe it has to do something with the method itself, not really quite sure. Let's try something like this. If I just set the method at the beginning to be equal to basic, and I run it without this, base or digest authentication. And what was my command? Let me just double check everything. So file common.txt. Let us go back to our program. So something is wrong, not really sure what, but we will manage to fix it, I believe. So -u, -m, -t. Okay, so why doesn't the file exist? Let us see. If I just type here ls, common.txt is there. Let's try with a different password list. Maybe that password list doesn't exist. What if we specify the entire path? So /root /python program /brute forcer, and then the passlist.txt. For some reason it doesn't want to work even then. File doesn't exist. Which is really weird because that is the actual part of the program that I believe works really well. F equals open dictionary. Oh, okay, so here is the error. We are missing a letter right here. Not here, dictionary. That was the actual problem. So right now if we run this, if we run it without the full path, what do you mean? Let me just check everything right now. Maybe I named it once again. Dictionary. Dictionary. Is this the same word? It is. So dictionary. Let's just try to change the order for some reason. Maybe that could be presenting the problem. Then threads 5, then m basic. And then we run this. Object has no attribute password. Okay, so we got a different type of error. That is actually good. Let us see. Okay, so the error is right here. Pass, we are having an extra R right here. So let us try right now. Pass WD. Then what is the name if it is not pass WD? Oh, so it's password. Password. Okay. Too many errors, but that is something that you will encounter a lot. Not hello world, not valid. Okay, so we got our program to work finally. Not valid password, not valid password, not valid password. Let us just right now try to actually use a password list that is a little bit longer, which is common.txt. And my username is not even admin, so it doesn't even matter. We can just go and you can see it actually brute force really fast. For an online brute forcer, this is actually really good. We can see that it works. We don't get any errors anymore. We had to deal with a few errors, but we managed to fix it, so everything is good. And our program finally works. So that would be about it for our basic or digest authentication brute forcer. We're going to continue coding in the next lecture, and I hope I see you there, and take care. Bye.